Hi, this is Duncan from Stadia Source, but I'm also known as One to Escape in the wider Stadia community. I write the Stadia Unofficial community update on Reddit each Friday. This update covers what has been going on in the world of Stadia, and it's broken down into 4 sections. The first is Stadia News. This is general news about Stadia or other things in the wider cloud gaming circle which could affect Stadia. The next is Game News. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's about games. This could be new games coming to the platform, update, patches, etc. Your run-of-the-mill games news. The community section is about what the community has been talking about in Reddit or YouTube or wherever. For example, this week's hot button subject has been the Digital Foundry video. Lastly, there's a section for podcasts. With the Stadia Unofficial community update on Reddit, I try to be even-handed and link to articles outside Stadia Source. I included a link below to the full Reddit post so you can have a look at it and go through the sources I've used there. However, any stories which we have covered in Stadia Source I've linked below. If you would like me to feature your work or your favourite creators' work, please let me know going forward. There are so many good creators out there now and there's so many springing up, it's hard to keep up with them all. So with that, we're going to start with the Stadia news. The first story of the week is from the New York Times, and they are saying if you want to play some demanding games, but you've only got an old computer or laptop, Google Stadia could be a way of playing it. So there's actually a good couple of paragraphs on how Stadia could be a solution for people out there because of the current situation. The next article is also from the New York Times, and it's about Amazon. This is about how they're going to enter the game market in a big way. It talks about Project Tempo, which is going to be their cloud solution, and also gives a list of a couple of the games they have coming. And there is also talk about Twitch and how they're going to start introducing games into Twitch. These will be smaller titles, but it's basically a bit like crowdplay, which is coming to Stadia. So again, this article is actually quite interesting. So if you're interested in Amazon's entry, go check that one out. The next news article is about Doom Eternal and Digital Foundry's take on it, and to say this has caused some controversy in the Stadia community is an understatement. It's well worth checking out both the video and the article about it on Eurogamer. It talks about how Stadia plays Doom Eternal, but the big talking point is the lag within the Stadia community. So I would check out both the video and the article just to see what has been going on with that. The last thing on the general Stadia news is the Stadia Save Point for March was released. Basically it's an update what's been happening the whole of March. So we've got the web capture library, the 4K, more content launches in Stadia, new games announced, the pro updates and so on. So it's just a general update on what's been going on the whole month, so it's well worth checking that out. Now we'll move on to the game news for the week, and the first piece of game news is that the pro games are now available. This month we're getting 3 games. The first one is Spitlings, which is like a bit of pang. Sounds of Stadia are doing a lot of videos on it, so it might be worth checking them out. The next is Serious Sam Collection is now available on Pro, and you get 3 games in that as well, and it's a first-person shooting, so I think a lot of people may enjoy that. And the last is Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, which is a 3D tower builder of a sort, so you can give that a try. The good thing about Stadia, you can try them all and you don't have to worry about downloads, so if you don't like them, it's no biggie. You don't have to download it, you can just switch it on and switch it off if you don't like it. The next piece of game news is that we've got 2 new games coming to Stadia in Gunsport and Just Shapes and Beats. These games are co-op games and they're coming to the Stadia list later this year. There has been no release date given for them, so I would check out the trailers for them to see if you like the look of them. Now we move on to the game patches and updates section of the community update. So the first game we're going to talk about here is Trials Rising. There's an Easter event coming for it, and it runs from the 2nd of April to the 13th of April, and you have to find 10 hidden collectibles in various trials tracks, so you need to have a wee look and go through the game again. The next is for the Crew 2, and they have detailed content throughout April. So you're going to get a number of different cars coming to it looks like. New Dive Summit the Brits, the Scenic Tour Full Throttle, and a New Dive Summit Downhill section for it. Next we also have Borderlands 3 has done some hot fixes, and that happened on the 2nd of April. And they've also added a new event, a Trials Take All mini event to the game as well. And then we've got some more information about the Crew 2 holds its events celebrating the British. So you can get a Platinum TVR, Griffin SE, among other things within the game. Borderlands 3 also has some Twitch Prime lit, so you need to go and get that. So that is the updates and patches section completed there. And now we move on to getting more information about games coming to Stadia. The first one is Moto GP has detailed its managerial career mode. They've got a trailer which you can watch explaining that. Get Packed released a number of videos over the last couple of days, so you can check that out, explaining the campaign mode and that sort of thing. And also Orcs Must Die, which is coming to Stadia first, detailed some more things coming with that game. Now we move on to the community section of the community update, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the loading times on the Division 2. With that, a video was put up showing the difference in speed of fast travel in the Division 2 between Stadia and the PlayStation 4, and the differences are quite significant. So it's well worth checking that out to see how that all fares. I think it's actually quite surprising for a number of people as well. The next one in the community section is from YouTube, and it is Laggate. This is a response to the Digital Foundry article and video which came out this week about Doom Eternal, showing that Doom has lag on Stadia and it's quote-unquote unplayable. A number of the leading content creators in the community have tackled that subject in depth, and it's well worth checking out all the videos below. We have linked them below, and you can just click onto them and you can go through and make your mind up on them. The Glory of Stadia podcast had a couple of interviews with developers over the last couple of weeks. I highlighted that on the community update. The first one is with the Stacks on Stacks on Stacks developer, and then the second one was the Lost Words developer. If you like getting behind the scenes and hearing how its games are created and how Stadia is to develop for, check out these wee interviews. I also do like a highlight of a couple of pictures or videos on Reddit, and this week I highlighted Tomb Raider 100%, social distancing with a girlfriend, and there's a creative Crew 2 picture, so you can check them out as well. It was also noted within the Reddit community this week that Stadiacast has now had 52 weeks of shows, and I think us all at Stadia Source would like to say congratulations on that, and we all look forward to your content each week. Your podcast is a staple within the Stadia community, and congratulations on having your 52 weeks. Next is the podcast section, and this is just a rundown of what podcasts have happened that week. And this week we've had the Stadiacast podcast, This Week in Stadia, with Stadia Player One and Stadia Talk. We've had the Sounds of Stadia. We've got our own Stadia Source podcast, which happens on a Sunday at 9 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time. We also have Clive has done his podcast, and also the Glory of Stadia. This week we've also had a new podcast come out called the Stadia Initiative, and you can check out them as well. They did their first one on Friday night. And that's the end of this Stadia Unofficial Community Update. If you like this, hit the like button there and subscribe. If you want me to change things in it, just comment below as well. But thank you for watching, and until next week, have a good one.